bro. Sheesh. If you've ever wanted to see somebody turn to a fuckboy so fast, get them a skin fade. It'll change their life. Anyways, what's up? It's your boy Mavin, aka That's a Mavin, and we're back at it again here with another video. If you've been wondering where I've been at and why I haven't posted anything recently, technically, I'm homeless as of right now. My homies Blin, Jerica, Jordy, Audrey, Danica have been really nice enough to let me stay under their roof and allowed me to crash in their guest room until I can essentially figure out where my next living situation is gonna be at. So really appreciate them. Shout out to y'all. Means so much to me. You guys are angels from above. Anywhoosies, to start the video, if you guys haven't noticed yet, summer's over. I know, like, it sucks. I mean, it doesn't really look like it because it's sunny outside, but that's Washington weather for you. Pretty soon, autumn's gonna be kicking in, fall is gonna be in full effect, so you know we're gonna be busting out our sweaters, busting out the layers. You already know it's about to be a hot girl summer to a Christian girl autumn, but you know we're gonna bust out them pumpkin spice lattes or a pumpkin spice cold brew. Tina, I don't know what you put in the pumpkin spice cold brews over in Starbucks, but they should be hitting. Let me know the secret. So autumn is a season for change. As the leaves change, so do we. Autumn also signifies the start of school. Yay! The start of the school year is like always interesting. You have like this long period of time where you've just been essentially, it's a break, it's summer break. And so you have this long period of time where you can just relax and decompress, unless you were that one person who was a studious little bean, or your parents forced you to go to summer school, and so your summer literally was yeeted out of your life. You have like this long period of relaxation, and then you kind of come back into it. You feel refreshed. Hopefully, for the most part, your cortisol levels are down. Mine currently aren't, because life is a forever existential crisis, but you know, we still out here. Ayy. Yeah. But like, you just feel refreshed, raring to see like your friends, and you're just like kind of happy to be back. However, for like most folks, mainly myself, the start of the school year can be scary. It can be very jarring. Like, you don't want summer to end because, you know, it's summer, bro. Like, why would you ever want summer to end? What are you? Quack. But yeah, like, you don't want summer to end, or you left like the previous school year like on a bad note. You're worried that it's gonna be the same soon, you know, what's the point? Or you just kind of come in starting the school year with like a negative attitude. And I mean, you are so valid in your thoughts, but at the same time, the struggle is all for naught. Perspective is key, and at the end of the day, it builds character development. Due to my family's background in the military, I've always been the new kid. I've always had to adapt into like newer environments, so adapting has always just been like my forte. If you can relate to the struggle, and the struggle is real, whether it be middle school, high school, college, preschool, if you're even thinking about these kind of things, I guess. It can be hard to get through this time, or even like life in general. But if you have a strong foundation, it can make these arduous times a little less hectic. I've lived, I failed, I've failed a lot. Oh my God, that can be a whole separate video, but I've learned so much. So I'm here to offer you some sage wisdom, some advice that has helped me along the way. With all that said, here are 5 tips that I've learned to start the school year off strong. Tip 1. Get sleep. Sleep is literally quintessential for your body to even function. I know we jokingly say, who sleeps nowadays? Or like, I'll sleep when I'm dead. And me, like, that's super cryptic, and it do be like that sometimes, but it doesn't have to be. In my past, like, I've had the occasional all-nighter, and like, I attributed me not being affected by the all-nighter due to my youth. But I'll tell you what, it catches up to you. It literally will catch up to you. This is not a game. Like, look at these eye bags, bro. Like, I don't know if you know them, but like, my skin is amazing. But at the same time, like, look at all these years, bro, of not sleeping. Instead of the late night chats and the late night escapades of just having fun with friends, I lie awake in my room thinking about my very existence and questioning it and wondering, why am I even here? Or I'm like laughing at memes, or I'm just watching like a theory video on YouTube about like the Mandela effect. Bernstein Bears or Bernstein Bears? What do you remember? We are creatures of habit, and if you can build a good sleep pattern now, this will aid you in the future. You youth. I'm talking to all you. I'm talking to all youths. Most college kids or adults who are done with school are screwed at this point. Like, but you are the future. Future. But so yeah, tip 1, get sleep. Tip 2, plan ahead. So like I used to be, and on the contrary still am, a person of spontaneity. I'm just very extroverted, and I sometimes will yeet myself into life's arm and let it take me wherever the heck it wants to take me. At the same time, I need structure. Don't get me wrong, I am a fan for like the occasional spontaneous road trip to Portland or binge watching a show. But like I really could have got through school easier if I had just learned how to plan better and just plan ahead of time. Instead of blowing a night or even a week binge watching Netflix or anime or some show, I could have planned accordingly. I could have scheduled and bracketed out time where like I could have been able to study for the exam that was going to be coming up. These hours I would study for this exam, and then these hours I would have like some moment to like decompress and take a moment and maybe watch the show and then get back into the studying. And this would be weeks ahead of the exam, as opposed to like literally the night before, and I'm like scrambling to figure out if I remember if the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. The day mitochondria went from being the powerhouse of the cell to the ATP synthesis by oxidative phosphorylation was a horrible day, and I learned that in school. Time management will literally save you so much time and stress, and it just is gonna help you along the way. Like I'm telling you, when I actually got on my case, got a planner, wrote out my schedule throughout the day. Not saying you have to follow every single thing to the dot unless you really need that much structure. It helped me. It allowed me to see like visually how my day was going to progress. I would be able to recall like, oh, like I have a meeting at this time, or I have this allotted free time to study, and so I can plan accordingly. And yeah, it doesn't even have to be for school. It can just be in life in general, because you know, life doesn't just put itself on pause. Like there are things that are happening that we're gonna have to juggle. So to make all that juggling easier, get a planner. Plan ahead. Like I know there are some folks who for some reason just love the pressure, love like the last minute, oh yeah, like the night before is when I'm gonna study for this exam and I'm just gonna cram it all in my head. But I don't know if like they love themselves or they hate themselves or they love hating themselves. But for everybody else there, and including myself, no one needs that stress in their life. Tip 2, do yourself a favor, plan ahead. Tip 3, get out of your comfort zone. No matter what period of time it is, whether it be childhood, adolescence, adulthood, we all fall into the trap of being comfortable, or more specifically, being too comfortable. We fall into the routine, contrary to like the previous tip. I know saying plan ahead and have structure, but planning ahead of time can be great. It gives you structure to your life. But if you follow suit to the same day to day, to week, to month, to year routine, your life becomes stagnant, and you won't actually be living. You'll just end up doing the same old rigmarole of life, and it just will become stagnant. The days will blend, and you'll just kind of wonder, where did the time go? Like I know school's something that like kind of perpetuates that kind of stagnant, like, and depending on which stage of life you are in middle school and high school, you have like your set schedule from like, I think it's like 8 a.m. to like 2:33. It's been a long time. College, it's more spaced out, where you have your classes every other day or so. Kind of makes it nicer, especially if you're semester based. But there are ways to combat it. This change can literally come in various forms, whether it can be in the form of starting a conversation with somebody who was in your class who you've always wanted to approach, but like you just feared rejection, or you just feared coming off as weird or whatever. Or, you know, like you challenge yourself for like that quarter or semester to just be better instead of just half-assing everything. Just put your all in it, and if that's the case, yo, then great. Like I'm not saying you have to do these huge leaps. At the end of the day, it's all baby steps such as greeting someone, or when you wake up before you go to sleep, just for like 15 minutes, like read a book or study just a little bit. And so those habits will translate and be a foundation that you can build upon that will definitely aid you in the future. Yo, I was never ever this extroverted growing up. I was always extra. I was extra since I came out the womb, but I was never this confident being extra. And so I've definitely messed up a lot of times. Like there has been a lot of trial and error. Even to this day, I will sometimes have my whoa moments, but I'm definitely more comfortable with being uncomfortable because I was constantly pushed pushed myself to be uncomfortable. Tip 3, get out of your comfort zone. Tip 4, participate in extracurriculars. Another one of those helpful ways to get out of your comfort zone is by joining extracurricular. Extracurriculars just serve to add on to your experience that's outside of your curriculum. So that can come in the form of joining a club or joining a sport. These are honestly great ways to get out of your comfort zone and meet new people, or be in spaces that you thought you may not have been able to be in, and just it allows you to challenge yourself and then grow. It's also a great way to form meaningful relationships, or really at the end of the day, build some sort of connection with somebody. And it can also be a great way to network. I don't know if you realize, but nowadays it's not what you know, it's who you know. And so you never know where your network and networking can take you. It's just a great platform to like just connect with folks who are outside of your normal sphere of conversation. So like in middle school, high school, like I was a part of band and robotics. Those definitely allowed me to grow in roles that I at first thought I was not ready for or was doubted, and it allowed me to challenge myself and connect with folks. In high school, my sophomore year, I did cheerleading. In my freshman and senior year, I did judo. There were definitely some unhappy moments in those two respective areas, but they got me out of my comfort zone and helped form the person who I am today. I can't promise that all these interactions are going to be great. Some of them are going to be shitty, and it'll test you as a person. Those negative experiences shaped not only how I wanted to be treated, but how I wanted to treat people, how I want to be a leader instead of being a follower. And so yeah, tip 4, participate in extracurriculars. And then tip 5, be authentic. If anything, all of these tips are great when said and done, but the most important tip I can offer you is just being yourself. There is literally no one else in this world who is like you. And I know sociology, if there are some sociologists watching this video, the idea of individuality is quote unquote the illusion. And you know, to some extent that is true. And you know, you can go down that rabbit hole of an existential crisis, but literally there is no one else like you. There is no one who has lived your lived experience. You have so much validity within your own self. I fall susceptible, and I feel as if a lot of us fall susceptible to comparing ourselves to other folks. Really, at the end of the day, those folks who we compare ourselves, who we say quote unquote are living life better than us or doing better than us, are really just struggling just like you and I. Like, no one has it together. The idea of having it together is, I think it's an illusion. I don't think anyone has it all together. I don't think anyone has it all figured out. I used to believe that life is greener on the other side, but I now challenge that notion with a more revised version of that quote. I say, the grass is greener wherever you water it. My biggest philosophy in life is that life is literally improv. Like, this video is kind of improv too. Nothing really has structure. Nothing truly has structure. And as long as you're willing to take the blows, go with the ebb and flow, trust the process, and live your truth and live in that truth, love others in the way that you can and you can alone, and at the end of the day stay true to yourself, I think you'll be fine. You'll go places. Trust me, I've been down and out, quite literally down and out. I've hit rock bottom. I've been there, but if you're willing and able to put your best foot forward, keep your head up, keep a level head, keep perspective, speak positivity into the universe and whatever you do, and strive to be a better you, you'll do fine. So yeah, tip 5. Be authentic. Those are my 5 tips to help you start the school year off right. I hope they help you out along the way, whether it be in school or just in general. So yeah, if you haven't already, subscribe, comment down below what are some tips that you have found helpful along the way that have helped you get through just school or life in general, or some positive affirmation that someone may need in the future that they can reference and be like, huh, maybe I'm not alone. Cross your fingers for me so I can figure out my housing situation, and don't forget to smash that like button. Yeah.